Is it time to reveal your real magic and become seen, known, and valued? Hello, hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Visionary Voices Deep Dive. So if you're here watching me live, or you're here watching the replay, just type in hello or replay and I'll see if I can check in and see the comments as we go through. So I'm really excited today to be sharing with you a topic called Coming Home to Myself, Liadain's story, and this is the story of my sister, Liadain Aiken, and her journey of embodying a poem. Because as you may know, we're also talking a lot about poetry and visibility recently. So if we haven't met before, if you're new here, hello, I'm Liadain Aiken. I'm the Deep Dive Visibility Mindset Mentor. I'm also the Poetry Alchemist, and I love to support creatives and soulful business owners to break free of the inner barriers to becoming visible so we can share our gifts and shine our light in the world. So the journey of embodying a poem is such a profound one, and engaged with fully, it's a really transformative act. And I see it as, it's like, we are here, and the poem that is calling us, that we feel drawn towards, that feels like it's the right one for us, the right poem at the right time. It's like that is the invitation into future self, into a future way of being. It's like, oh, I love that poem. I would love to be where that poem is. And there is a way that I will going to share a little bit more with you today of actually embodying that poem. And it's like a visceral experience. It's like having a physical memory of your future self, excuse me, something coming through. So, and it's a beautiful way of stepping in to your new story, beyond your current patterns and habits, to live into the vision that's calling you home to your deepest self. So I'm so delighted and, quite moved actually to share with you this story today of my sister's journey with the poem, because we've done some work together and she's been, went really deep with this, and it really changed her life. So she's going to be sharing, and I'm going to share a video that I've already done, a video interview that I've done with her for this. Where she talks about how she brought the poem deeply into her daily life and how she worked with it to embody it. And then she's also going to share, and this really moves me every time I hear it, just that heart-stopping, magical moment when she shared that with a group, and what changed in her life as a result of that. It's quite magical, and if you would love to hear more stories like this and to explore the magic of poetry and how it can help you with the most common barriers to visibility, register now for the Poetry Breakthrough Experience. We're starting in a couple of weeks on the solstice, 21st of June, and I'll be going live here in this group every day for 5 days. And what I'll be covering is, some of the, the really deep barriers to visibility and how poetry can help you with those. So please share, let me see if I can see some comments. Please share as we go through this video that I'm going to share with you, just share what moved, what touched you, what inspires you about it, and share any questions that you might have. So, and just let me know if you're here, say hello, or just type in replay. So now I'm just gonna share my screen so you can see the video. Just setting that up now, but just say hi if you're here watching or if you're watching the replay. Welcome. I'm here with my beautiful sister, Liadain Aiken, a knitwear designer and a gorgeous, conscious woman. So, and Liadain is going to share her story of when she worked with me to embody a poem. So, Liadain, I'd love to hear from you your process about choosing a poem and working with it.
Well, hello everybody. It's great to be here with my sister, who's an amazing guide for me. So I'm very lucky to have her to constantly work with. So yeah, I was trying to think back to when, I suppose you've given me poems throughout the years, and I think some of them, the first ones were for grief and different things, and we're there to kind of hold my hand through some tough times. And then this one came about when I was in a space more of wanting to create expansion, and stepping into I suppose into myself a bit more, but in a very heart-centered way. So I think you sent me a good few poems, and it was The Clearing by Morgan Farley, which was the one that kind of resonated with me the most. And I was going to a kind of a small, I suppose it was like a music festival or a gathering in the west of Ireland, where one of the nights was kind of going to be people to sing or poetry or to talk. And so I kind of wanted a poem to share at that. And what I liked about The Clearing was it's really rich in nature imagery. And it's very much about clearing a space and opening and welcoming, the moon and the elements in to partner with you, and to be, to be sturdy, I suppose, and base, and to kind of to live and to breathe from this space of anchoring in. So so that was the poem.
Yeah, gorgeous. I love that. It was the nature elements in the poem that were really calling you in
Yeah.
into that expansion for yourself. Beautiful. Yeah, so tell me a bit about the process of working with it. So you chose this poem, felt right for you.
Yeah, well, I think I have a memory of being in my bedroom and working with you through it, and that kind of like just trying to get through the sentences and words and what came next, and just like not jumbling it up. That was the kind of the first part of it. And I suppose when you're reading it, with you, I suppose it was kind of, you were getting me to feel into what bits, like the energy that were how I was feeling within the different sentences. And some of them definitely came easier than others, and other ones seemed to have a bit more of a struggle. So I think I just remember that untangling being the first part of it. And then I suppose moving into kind of learning it by heart for me was, was about kind of writing it out again. So my visual memory just would nearly be able to read it in my handwriting off the page. So that was the first part of learning it by heart, and then the next part of it was just really embodying it. So just being in the poem, and being in the space and the world that I created around each of the imagery. And just that being a familiar space, this safe space that, when you do step into speak it, or be it to yourself or whoever, that, you're kind of in that world. And that is where you can call on these words in this world to give you strength and to kind of center or ground you. To prepare yourself for, I don't know, whatever it is you're wanting to invite in, or to give your strength to um to embody this grounded energy, I guess.
And how were you embodying it? We had some sessions together where you were speaking it and feeling into it. And outside of that, how were you embodying it?
Yeah, I think I remember one when I was really tuning it into it again, it might have even been coming back to it after a time of not connecting with it or with poetry. And I just started, reciting it on the way to work when I was on my bike, or out on walks and runs. And, sometimes I would lose different sentences or words, but, just even kind of just keep on teasing it, working back through, and then unraveling it again. And it was still there. And yeah, I just used it a lot in, when I was doing sessions or workshops, where I felt I really wanted to connect in, I would just recite it to myself. And it just was a really grounding, heart opening space for me, or, way to connect in.
Beautiful.
So yeah, felt like a
Yeah.
really useful tool.
So you were like, the embodiment came through cycling, walking, moving your body, and then coming back to it. It would open your heart and ground you
Yeah.
at different times when you needed it, when you wanted to open that up. Beautiful. So gorgeous. And what happened? What unfolded after that? You had embodied this beautiful poem.
Yeah, so well, when I first embodied it, I recited it for my friend Margie in the car while we were driving down to this, kind of gathering of music and poetry. And that was really beautiful to share it with her. And she sung me a song she was learning. But unfortunately, it never unfolded for me to speak the poem at that time. And it wasn't until a good few years later that I, again was connecting in with the poem more. And I was at a gathering called Heart Space Gathering. So it's a community, a tribe of people coming together, living in little camps, and doing lots of workshops, like all sorts of different kind of workshops, and really heart-centered kind of open space. And it was like, so a 5 night, and it was different people's birthdays throughout, and everyone would kind of make an offering to them of a song as an entire group, and they would stand in the center to receive it and be hugged. So my birthday was coming up, so I just was like, okay, I would like to share the poem as well as receiving from everybody else. So when I woke up that morning, I kind of took myself off up to this outdoor altar, to again center myself in, because I was nervous to share it or to do it. But so I spoke the poem a few times there, just to kind of really anchor it in, and just asked, for it to unfold, um, as is, and to just make it an easy way to unfold. And so we were all kind of in the tent in the morning, waiting for the morning ritual to start. And some of the men had been doing a men's workshop the day before, so they walked into the tent in a line, singing songs with instruments, and they all gathered around me, because it was a song for my birthday, and other people joined in. So I suddenly found myself in the center of this tent with about 50 people standing around me receiving this song. And when it ended, I just said I would like to say a poem back. Yeah, and I can feel the energy already. It was, yeah, overwhelming. And it was a significant birthday, because it was my 36th birthday. So it was like I had spent 18 years, like half my life, in Dublin, and it was time for a change. And that's what the poem represented on that day. This yeah, ready to step, ready for change. So yeah, I recited the poem, and tears streaming down my face, but I managed to kind of, take my time and take the deep breaths I needed, and turn in a circle and look at everybody.
Mm. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was powerful, and
Yeah.
yeah, I can feel it now.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah. And receiving all of the love from the people and sharing this with them as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you want to share a bit of what you were speaking with them? Is there any lines that feel relevant
Um,
to share?
yeah. Well, I suppose the opening is is so beautiful. It's so grounding, and this space, that this visual of it is such a welcome and safe space to come into. and to find yourself again. So
Yeah.
I'm clearing a space here where the trees stand back. I'm making a circle so open the moon will fall in love and strike these grasses with her silver. I'm setting stones in the four directions, stones that have called my name from mountaintops and riverbeds, canyons and mesas. Here I will stand, hands empty, mind empty under the moon. And if something should take my life, if a sudden wind sweeps through me, changing everything, I will not resist. I am ready for whatever comes. But I think it will be something small, an animal padding from the shadows on delicate paws, or a word spoken so softly I hear it inside. There is a way to live that makes the angels cry out in rapture. There is a way to live that makes each star a cell. Come stand with me here. It is cold, I know. Nothing is happening. The next breath and the next is the new life.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So yeah, I think what I love about it is, that initial grounding of space and the trees and the moon and the grasses and, things that have been calling your name. This nature has been calling your name. And just being there, mind, hands empty, and just, receiving or letting go, or all of those things. And, just that, yeah, that when this sudden change or anything that can rattle you, you're ready, you're ready. It can blow past you or blow through you, or
Yeah.
that you can just allow it
Mm.
and be there and really feel your feet on the earth.
Yeah.
But I love then it brings in a bit of lightness, and for me, that animal padding, there's a bit of playfulness in there, and it just lightens it for me. Knowing that a word spoken so softly, it's kind of like that, that your heart voice, when you just hear it. And then just the kind of joyousness of, an angel crying out in rapture, and RSL,
Yeah.
it's kind of celebrating this life and this world. And then that it brings it back to, yeah, you're just standing there and breathing, and nothing is happening. It's kind of brings back to I suppose the reality of things, that we're always figuring things out. And you just have your breath to come back to. But at the end of that poem, you're armed with all this wonderful imagery and support, in nature and in the cosmos and in the stars, and if you can, yeah, gain that energy and that support from just this planet, this magical planet, that's a beautiful thing.
It's gorgeous. And what I'm really feeling is that, you embodied that poem, and you step in and inhabit that poem and the invitation it offers. And then you were sharing that with others and being witnessed in that
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was it was it was huge. Yeah. And
Yeah. So what
after I
unfolded? Yeah.
finished, everyone just silently came in and stood around me and, hugged or put an arm on. And so we were all, yeah, clustered together,
Mm.
for a few moments in silence and just in breath. So it was very powerful. Yeah, very nurturing and beautiful.
Yeah. And it was like an intention, because you felt this change coming.
Yeah,
So what unfolded in your life
yeah,
after that?
yeah. Just I think just to be witnessed and to open that out, and to put the intention forward that I was ready for change, and feeling the support that came with that, and even the conversations that came with that, from people, through that connection of changes they had made, or
Mm.
moves and journeys that they had made. And um, it was actually just before coming on this call with you today, I read the poem that you posted, and it's the Showing Up by Carrie Newcomer.
Yeah.
And I've just added it to my poetry notebook. So I'm gathering a journal of poems of armor. And yeah, it's just about showing up and not letting this life go by without telling your story,
Mm.
being brave. Yeah, so that's what it's about, isn't it? It's telling your
Yeah.
story. And
Yeah.
yeah, even
Yeah.
though all the visibility is terrifying,
Yes.
gotta do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It took a lot of courage to step forward in that group and share, and then you created this magic moment for everyone.
Mm.
And thank you for your courage and sharing that with us today. And then I know, and we're seeing these beautiful images behind you of where you are now. So you're not in Dublin anymore.
No, no, I'm surrounded by nature and trees, and in my house and out the windows. So yeah, I am by the sea, and with the moons, I see the moon shining in,
Yeah.
or enticing me to go outside to bathe in its light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
poem was part of that process of calling in that shift, wasn't it? Of moving out of the city and into nature.
yeah, yeah. Big part of the yeah, trusting in the vision, and trusting in myself, and trusting that it will unfold.
Mm.
When you set the intention, and the grounding in to really really figure out what's right, and what it is you want to call in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. That feeling your heart's
Mm.
voice and taking action on it as well. And I love that you're still discovering new poems and adding them to your poem journal and exploring what's next.
Yeah, well, I think that's it does give you um room to move in a different way, and create worlds to step into, when I don't know, this world can be overwhelming, or decisions or challenges can be overwhelming. And to have a kind of armor of poetry, whether you know them all off by heart, or whether they're just in a notebook that you can pick up and center in. But yeah, I definitely feel encouraged to learn more, even if it is a verse here and there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, have it in my satchel of things of support, I suppose.
beautiful. Love that. Okay, thank you so much for showing up and being visible and being vulnerable and sharing that with us today. It's a real treasure.
Well, thank you
Mm,
for doing this work. It's very needed in the world. So
mm,
thank you.
beautiful. Thank you, Liadain. Oh, I don't know about you, but that really touched my heart. So beautiful. So I'd love to hear from you. What was moved you, touched you, inspired you? What were your takeaways from that? What I'm really hearing, from Liadain is that she's saying that the poem creates this safe space and creates a kind of a new world to step into when the everyday world can seem um, hostile and overwhelming. And I also heard about every time she connected with the poem, it was grounding her and it was centering her and it was giving her courage to open her heart and be more of who she is and follow her dreams. And the vulnerability of sharing that deep part of ourselves, and how the poem in a way creates a container of safety in which to do that, to really open up to those such deep levels. So I'd love to hear from you about this. What was your takeaways and your comments? Leontine saying beautiful poems of armor. Wow, vulnerable and powerful at the same time. Yes, I really love that. It's vulnerable and powerful at the same time. Gorgeous. Yes, and Anne is saying it's so beautiful. So yeah, so gorgeous. So I'm running in a couple of weeks, starting on the summer solstice, 21st of June. I'm running a 5-day event here in the Visibility for Visionary Leaders Facebook group, but you do need to register to get all the details. And for the first time, I'm sharing all of my insights about visibility and poetry and how they come together. And I'll be focusing on each of the days and focusing on some of the biggest obstacles that keep us stuck in habits of hiding, and how poetry can help you transform them. So it's different information to anything I've ever shared before. I'm really excited about it. Um, and I'll be covering things like, what's the number one mistake that stops you stepping into your spotlight, how poetry helps you bust through your visibility blocks, like you just heard in Liadain's gorgeous story, and why mindset's not enough to create a visibility breakthrough. It kind of needs to be embodied, it needs to be on all of these different levels. And what I'll be talking about consistency. What stops you from showing up consistently to share your voice, and what can help with that, and some inspiration going forward, and then how to really ignite next level visibility and become unstoppable. So these are all the 5 different elements we'll be touching in. So the lives will be every day that week, at a bit of a later time. So 12:30 in the UK, 1:30 here in Europe. And yeah, all of these pieces I'll be sharing are essential, and one or more of them missing, you can find yourself not moving forward. And I'll be sharing some, you thought that story was beautiful, I'll be sharing some more incredible stories of how poetry transformed both my life, some of my clients, and some other incredibly inspiring people, and lots of juicy poems. So register now. I'll pop the link in the chat, and it's also in the text of this video, wherever you're watching it. So I look forward to seeing you there. But to register for the Poetry Breakthrough Experience, thank you for watching today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.